Well, good morning, my Teaserking family. Or how about good afternoon, my Teaserking family? Hope all is well. Had a busy morning and had a already swam and I already ate, so now it's time for football. Real quick, gold 34.82 flies up. 10 o'clock, U.S. gets it and it flies to 35.40. And now it's comfortably at 35.30. This is not like when it was 35 before, where it was because there was a holiday and China bought and nobody was there to cut it. This is different. There's no holiday. Well, yesterday was Labor Day, but this isn't a holiday. You can see that. Hey, Luke, looking good. Yeah, we're looking very good. Just what we want. Um, and that's what we've been waiting for. So yeah, I'm sure your miners are doing well or Bitcoin's doing well, whatever, but this is just starting, right? This is the new ride to the moon, and you're in on the ground floor instead of what do you do with Bitcoin at 100 or your miners if they've already run up. Now, what do you do? Are they going to run some more? We know gold and silver are running. So it's good to see silver at 40.90. It broke 40. I would expect it to be 50 very soon. And then once people realize 50 was a bullshit paper price, then we'll see 100. And gold 35.29. I think we'll see 4,000 relatively soon. Silver about to go. Well, that's what they say. So I think we can. It broke the 40, which was the key. That it broke 40. I think it'll just keep going. Who's selling? Nobody's selling it. Wait until it breaks 49. Well, that's what I'm saying. When it goes to 50, people are, oh, I can't go any higher. But when it hits 55 or so, it's going to 100 because people will realize they've been scammed by paper gold and paper silver, just like gold 35.29. Oh, it'll never go over 2,000, and yet that's all we see. Here's 35.29. So, and this is still suppressed. Wait till we get to a physical price. Let's see what the Dow did today. The Dow went down $250. It's now 45,295, and that's a bullshit price. Just like gold and silver are held down, the stocks are held up by AI or by bullshit algorithms, whatever it is. It's not real, and it's going to crash soon. So people, if you got your money in stocks, you're probably not making anymore. You might make in your miners, but the Amazons, the Apples, Microsofts are probably done. And people will start going, well, let me get out of here and let me go into gold and silver because that's the next thing. And that's what should happen, probably will. I've just been waiting in gold and silver and waiting for this to happen. And now it's happening. And my philosophy, and I know everybody has their own, is simply let's get into the lifeboat. We can wait for the boat to sink. But I'm in the lifeboat and I'm not getting out of the lifeboat. Some people wait till the boat's sinking and then look for a lifeboat. Well, I don't like that. That to me, no. I'm in it. I'm in the lifeboat and I'm staying in the lifeboat. I'm happy I'm in the lifeboat. So that's really good news there. Football, I go 11-1 in college. Pretty good fucking week to start with. There was just, I'll tell you, if I'm going to rank the top 10, my top 10 is a lot different than these idiots' top 10. Let's go through the conferences, and we're going to rate. We're going to try. It's hard to rate the A teams because there were so many. There were so many high school games standings. So if we go conference by conference and we rate, let's try to rank the A teams. American Athletic, Temple looked huge beating UMass. Now they're not an A team, but just we had that. Tulane still looks very strong there. South Florida killed Boise. Navy's good. Army looked a little weak. UTSA explosive, and Charlotte's a Z team there. ACC. Duke struggled with Elon. I was watching that game. Florida State looks like an A team again, although I can't believe the quarterback's that good. Georgia Tech's very strong team. I don't know if they're an A. We'll see. Virginia looks really strong with the new quarterback from North Texas. Miami beats Notre Dame. Let's give them credit with Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback. So they're a strong team. SMU should be strong. Clemson got out coached. Still a good team, but as I said, they don't show up against the better teams. They didn't, like Georgia. They lost 33-3 last year, and now here they go against LSU, who's okay, not great, and at home, and they didn't show up. And then North Carolina didn't show up. Bill Belichick, yeah. Big 12. There's a lot of A teams in the Big 12. Number 1, Iowa State. Number 2, Kansas. Number 3, Utah. BYU, very strong team. Baylor is explosive. We will see Arizona State, Houston, TCU looked very good, Texas Tech. So right now I would say the A teams in the Big 12, Utah, Kansas, Iowa State. Now, Iowa State plays Iowa this week. Kansas is a big dog to Missouri, which is thank you very much. And Houston, we got to see him play. So the problem is, Utah went to UCLA and killed them. And Kansas has been looking strong enough, but they haven't, so Kansas plays Missouri this week. That'd be good. Iowa State, Iowa, so that'll be good. Utah, nobody. TCU, there's one. Baylor, I guess, has Baylor's got SMU. That should be a good game. Again, SMU, they're in the ACC. It's so screwed up. But Baylor got handled by Auburn. Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma ran all over Baylor. Okay, they look good. The Big Ten. Let's see. Nebraska under team defense. Illinois should be strong. Indiana looked fine. Iowa struggled. Michigan, they're okay against New Mexico. I like New Mexico's coach. Michigan State and Minnesota, good defense. Ohio State, weak quarterback play, strong defense, just what we thought. Penn State, they're never that good. They have the running and that, but they just struggle to score a lot. I don't know if it's the offensive line or what it is. They have good defense. The quarterback just not very good. Purdue bounced back. I don't think they're a Z team now, but we'll see when they play a real team. Oregon, again, DeAndre Moore from UCLA sucked, but he looked okay for Oregon. It's a different offense. So Bo Nix looks good, and then when Gabriel they get to Oregon, they all look good. So I think he'll be all right. USC and Washington are the A teams there. Northwestern and UCLA. So look out for Washington and USC and Oregon. Ohio State won't win it. They don't have the quarterback play or the offense, as you can see. Now, again, Texas had a good defense. So you take out Arch Manning struggled against Ohio State. Everybody does. Sailors struggle against Texas. Everybody does. So they're not that bad, but they didn't really show in the big game. Michigan, I don't know. We got to see this quarterback. It's funny. He goes to Oklahoma, and I'm like, Oklahoma barely beat the Division II team. I'm not impressed by Oklahoma. Indiana looks strong again, and Illinois looks strong. They got Duke this week. That should be a good test for them. Conference USA, now this is a little different flavor. Western Kentucky, their quarterback from Abilene Christian looks great. 8 touchdowns, like 300 yards a game. He looks really good. He's the stud. That's about it. I mean, the rest of the conference just sucks. Independence, what do we got? Notre Dame and UConn. UConn's not bad. They got a good quarterback. They got Syracuse this week. They can give them a ball game. Notre Dame, everybody wants to revert back to last year. Well, they lost to Northern Illinois and ran the table. They ran the table because they had a weak schedule. Here, they have another weak schedule. The quarterback was fairly weak against an average Miami defense. They didn't run enough, and maybe they couldn't. Maybe their offensive line's terrible. Their defense looked average. They didn't really shut down Miami. Miami put up 27. Miami ran on them. I'm not sure. I think they'll get it solved, but at this point, not ready. Mid-America, their big teams are Miami of Ohio, Toledo. The Z team is UMass. Ball State's pretty bad. Akron's pretty bad. Kent State, Bowling Green, and we'll get a better flavor as they go. Again, they're playing Division II teams, so you can't really get anything on Division II teams. Mountain West, Vegas looks okay. Utah State's improved. They're not an A team, but they improved. We've yet to see the Air Force, San Diego State. Wyoming barely beat Akron, I think. Fresno State looked terrible the first week against Kansas and then looked like champs last week. Hawaii struggling. San Jose's got a tough game this week. Colorado State, they lost to Washington. New Mexico, decent team. And then Boise really let down. So the best team here is probably going to be Vegas, Air Force, San Diego State. We'll see. Fresno State, maybe they bounce back. The Pac-12 is the Pac-2. Oregon State got killed. Washington State, they don't look good. And the SEC, we'll see. I'm not buying Missouri. I'm not buying Oklahoma or Florida. Georgia, I'm buying. South Carolina looked good. Tennessee with Aguilar looks good. Vanderbilt, underrated. Auburn looked very good with that. They played a good team in Baylor, right? At Baylor, and they did good. LSU went to Clemson and won. Ole Miss ran up the score. We're not sure. Texas A&M, Texas. I don't know how good Arch Manning is. I'm not impressed with him. And Alabama looks like a high school team. To get blown out as bad as they did at who the hell did they play? Who did Alabama play? Florida State. Florida State played passionate. The quarterback running on Alabama makes you really think, did you not know he was a running quarterback? And you couldn't handle him. So they're going to be really in trouble with running quarterbacks. And the Stockton from Georgia's a runner one. They're going to have trouble with Vanderbilt. Daggio runs good. LSU, they're going to have trouble with them. We'll see. Are they that bad? I don't know. They played an intense Florida State team who went from undefeated to won 2 games, and they went to Uglia Buglia. The quarterback looks, I don't know how good he looks. I think they made him look better. He wasn't that good at Boston College. He ran a lot, but Alabama didn't blitz him. All you do to stop that is blitz the guy. They didn't blitz him, or it wasn't apparent. So again, we'll keep our eye. I think Georgia's still the thing. Tennessee looks good. Vanderbilt looks good. Auburn, LSU. We'll see about Ole Miss, A&M, Texas. Maybe they're good. It's all up to Arch Manning. And Alabama. We'll see how they react to it. And then it leaves us with the Sun Belt. That's where all the stars are. App State played well. Marshall's terrible. Coastal Carolina got hurt. Georgia State's terrible. Arkansas State won. Texas State will be explosive. Troy, South Alabama should be a high-scoring team. And Southern Miss should be much better. They played Old Mississippi State pretty well, but look for them to get better with the Marshall coach. All right, so let's go through the lines. Now I've added now it's hard. I did put in my grades, right? My A teams, my Z teams, my overs. And what's hard is I normally go by the numbers, right? You score 34, you give up 0, you're an A team. Great offense, great defense, but I'm not finding that here. That's going to be a problem. So let's go through it. We got Louisville 1457 to James Madison. I have them both as A teams, but James Madison didn't play a real team, and neither did Louisville. So I'm stuck with not really sure. So I don't buy the grades. Maryland 17.5, 47.5 to Northern Illinois. I got Maryland as a B team. They beat a weak team. And Northern Illinois, I have no idea. I have them as an under, but they didn't play. See, they're not playing, so it's very difficult here. Now, I think Florida International played. Penn State 41.5, 54.5 to Florida International. I have Florida International as an 18. They scored a ton. And Penn State is an 18. Again, Penn State's laying 41. I don't know if I'd touch it. And it's weird that the total is 53. So they're going to win the game 41 to 40, 43 to 3 or something like that. It's just crazy, the total. But if we look at last week, Penn State didn't go over the total, right? And they gave up the touchdown in the last 10 seconds. Texas Tech 47.5, 58.5 to Kent. Kent I have as an under team. Texas Tech scored 100. Total of 59. Now the difference is Penn State doesn't score a lot, right? They run the ball and they'll put up their 35, 40 points. Texas Tech will score you 70 points. They are explosive. They have a good offensive-minded coach. Can they do 48? They could. Kent State, I don't have them as a Z team. But I think they played a Division II team. North Carolina State and Virginia. North Carolina State 2.5, 54.5. Virginia I have as an A team. They scored a ton with the new quarterback. And NC State I have as an under team. So let's see. Virginia beat Coastal Carolina 48-7, but I know they can score. I like their quarterback from North Texas. NC State, I don't know if they played a real team. Yeah, they beat East Carolina 24-17. So, they barely won. East Carolina's not that good. And Virginia is definitely much better there. So where is that game? So I think I think Virginia's a real A team with the quarterback, and I think NC State didn't show much against East Carolina. So that's where you have, let's look at that game, right? So NC State 3, the A team is the dog in that game. Texas, San Jose State, Texas is 36, 52.5, up from 51. San Jose State lost to Central Michigan, who's not supposed to be that good. They have a new coach. And then I have Texas, who, what do you see from him? You see a terrible quarterback, no offense, playing a very good defensive team, and a very good defense. So we'll see. I don't think San Jose State scores too much, but we don't know how good San Jose State's defense is, but we know it's the Navy coach, so it's probably not terrible. Can Texas just put up, 36 points is a big number for a team that didn't score against Ohio State. But again, that's the Ohio State's defense, and this is going to be San Jose's defense. So I got them both as unders. Do we go under in the game? Todd, can we really lay 36 with Texas? This would be the case, but San Jose State's not Division II. They're a good team, I feel. So we will see. Jacksonville State, Liberty 6 and 49.5. 6 and 50, we'll call it. Liberty's an E team, and Jacksonville State's an under team. Now, I haven't put the defense or offense in yet, which I'm going to add. Normally, it's hard because of the Division I, and I'm going to put a bunch of zeros in because they played high school teams. So I don't really want to do that. I can do it with certain ones, but most of those games, I know the score. There are balanced teams. So I wrote a chart of balanced teams here. And I got to see if I need to add anybody. I will be into my spreadsheet for 1 second. We got to add TCU to a balance. They got 284, 254. South Carolina, not balanced. Notre Dame, not balanced at all. Couldn't run, which is surprising. Threw for 221. Then a lot will be ACC teams. Miami, not balanced. They ran decent. They threw decently, didn't run. North Carolina, 69 yards of offense, 50 yards on rushing, 69 passing. Virginia Tech, 221 and 115. So they weren't balanced. So I have nothing to add. So the only one I had, TCU. So if we go conference by conference, the balanced team is the one that can run for over 200 and throw for over 200. They're very hard to stop. They're my favorites. Big 12, BYU, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, and TCU. Utah, yes. Kansas, yes. West Virginia played Division II. Texas Tech, I think, played Division II. So did BYU. TCU played a real team in North Carolina. And Arizona State, I think, played Division II. Conference USA, Florida International, and Liberty were balanced. SEC, Ole Miss, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, and Vandy. And Georgia played Division I, as did Tennessee. Arkansas played Arkansas. No, they didn't play anybody. Vandy didn't. Missouri played Division II, and Ole Miss did play Division I. So the reason I break that out is like Missouri was balanced, but they played Division II. So who the hell knows? Independent, Connecticut, not Notre Dame, was very balanced. In the Sun Belt, Texas State, very explosive team. In the MAC, Ohio, the only one. Mountain West, San Diego State, Vegas, and Fresno State. Fresno State bounced back from getting killed by Kansas. So those are the teams you want to look at there. The AAC, UAB, Memphis, Temple, and Tulsa had a nice balance. ACC, only Louisville, not Clemson. And the Big Ten, USC, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Michigan, and Indiana. Not Ohio State, at least not yet. So what's important about it, they're very hard. They're going to score for you. They're live dogs if you can get them as dogs. They're very good teams to bet on because if you have a hot quarterback and you can pressure them, you can't run the ball on them. They go right after the quarterback. Or if they have a good running attack and no quarterback, they just can put 9 guys in the box. But if you have a good option, a good running and a good passing, good quarterback, that's who you want to go after. So that's why I'm noting that separately, but it's in my stats. And again, the confusing part is who did they play week 1? And you almost want to okay, and then you're getting the other half this week where they are playing the high school teams. So you really can't get a good grasp on them. So it's a little bit hard to put the defense in yet. Offense, I can put in the offense regardless, even if it's Division II. If they ran and passed, that's good. All right, Pittsburgh, 21.5, 52.5 to Central Michigan. Central Michigan went to San Jose State, which is not a bad team, and beat them. And it was low scoring and very good defense. They got a new coach. The quarterback's returning. Pitt, Eli Holston threw for a bunch of touchdowns against Duquesne, right? So Pitt 21.5, 51. Are they an A team? Who knows? Who did they play? Central actually beat a good San Jose State team at San Jose State. So they're a really good team, or at least they had a really good win. So that leaves you with Pitt. Are they really 21.5 point favorites? And the total is 51, which you almost think's an under because Central didn't score on San Jose State, but held San Jose State down, which you don't know how good San Jose State is yet. So again, it's a little early there. So again, we're going to stick to the cream. Iowa State 341.5 over Iowa. I'll tell you, this isn't a normal Iowa State. It's gonna be 10-9. Tease the dog. I watched the Iowa Albany game or whoever the hell they played. They looked terrible. Iowa State looked good, beating Kansas State, and then they killed some Division II team. Rocco Beck scares me if I'm going to bet the game under. I would have preferred Iowa State as the dog. I love them as a dog. Do I love Iowa as the dog? I don't know about their quarterback. He's from South Dakota or something. They always bring a decent defense. The game's at Iowa State. It's a tough game. It's a tough spread because I want to take Iowa State, but I don't want to lay the 3. I am looking at the total, and I'm not sure this is the normal Iowa. We're going to score 10 points, and you're going to get 9 points, and that'll be the final. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Syracuse, 6.5, 58.5 to UConn. Syracuse, they played Tennessee okay. They did start getting some scoring. I got them as a B team, and Connecticut lit up whoever the hell they played. They passed for like 6 touchdowns. They got a good quarterback. Right now they're an A team, but they beat a Division II team. Total of 58. This will be an interesting game. I think UConn can stick with them, and I think that they can score on them. The quarterback looks real. They got a decent coach. So this is not the Z UConn team. It is the Z UMass team, but not the Z UConn team. Good game here. SMU 2.5, 65.5 to Baylor. If I can find this one. Oh, there it is. SMU, we saw him in the playoff. Jennings, the quarterback. And 2.5, 65. Baylor an over team. They ran into Jackson Arnold, who ran all over them, but Robertson looked he threw for 420 yards, and they can run. I believe Baylor's Baylor. No, Baylor's not. They're not running this year yet. TCU was. So Baylor, well, it was all passing, no running attack against a good Auburn defense. Here they got SMU. I got SMU as an A team, Baylor as an over team. Jennings, another running quarterback, kind of. Baylor, you're not stopping Robertson. So this is another game that is a very interesting one. I think Baylor's a live dog in the game. Just because as good as the quarterback is. And all right, Auburn got him with the running quarterback, but I don't think Jennings is as much. Well, he is a runner, but we'll see. Illinois 349.5 to Duke. I got Illinois as an A team, and just from knowing them from last year, and Duke is a B team. They did struggle with Elon. Elon Musk has a college now. Duke struggled. Illinois killed the high school team. So this is a good one. Again, I would love to take Illinois as the dog here, not Duke. So again, just like the Iowa State game, I want Iowa State as the dog here. I want Illinois as the dog. Illinois is the dog. It's a lock. They got to lay 3. We'll keep an eye on the line. Let's see if we can. Let's see the line, the details. 3, 3, 3, 3. There is a 2.5. That's key. If it goes down to that 2.5, I definitely like Illinois in 3.5. And again, it's early, so keep your eye. Illinois, much the better team, much the better quarterback. Mensah, not bad from Tulane. He looked pretty good. I watched them against Elon, and Elon has a running back. This guy's great. He probably ran for 150 yards on him. Very good running back. I don't know why he's at Elon, right? He'll get a big pay increase to go to Michigan or something next year. So Illinois, very much stronger team than Duke. Indiana, 35.5, 52.5. 35.5, 52 to Kennesaw State. I got Kennesaw State as an under. I think they played a 10-9 game or something. And Indiana wore out. Who the hell did they play? Indiana wore out Old Dominion. They went for it on 4th down. They didn't get it. They kicked a couple of field goals, some in close. They dominated the play. They just didn't dominate the score, but they got to get used to Mendoza and everything, and that'll take a few games. But I definitely I think Indiana is going to be an A team again this year. Kennesaw State, but it's tough. You're laying 35 here. That's a big number. Indiana, they might get to 50 in this game. I don't know. Kennesaw State played fairly good defense. Will they score? And then what do you do with the total? A&M, 31.5, 53.5. This jumped from 29. 53.5. My picks are already posted, both pro and college. I posted them yesterday. So they're live. I have 4 locks. Love it. Already just teed up and ready to go. So my picks are up and ready. Again, www.teaserking.com. A&M and Utah State. Utah State, we liked last week. They beat UTEP. This is in UTEP, and they're at A&M, who's good. They're Marshall Reed, the running quarterback, he's pretty good passer. So I got A&M as an over team. They did give up 20-some points to UTSA, which isn't surprising. Utah State, the B team, 53.5. I don't know that Utah State is going to put up a lot of points here. But again, it's a 31-point with A&M. I think it'll be close to covering there. Teaser, you're down to 25. Utah State, I do like Bronco Mendenhall, good coach, BYU coach. Ole Miss, 10.5, 50 to Kentucky. And where are they? 10:51. Okay. Ole Miss, I have as an over team because they always are, and Kentucky an under team, which they always are. Will Ole Miss struggle? Probably. The total 51. You've got a strong defense in Kentucky without an offense. You have a strong offense in Ole Miss, and we're not sure about the defense. 10, you can lay 4 in a teaser. but we don't know Old Miss. They played a weak team. And Kentucky, we have, they're going to play defense. This is SEC. It's not like they're a high school team. So I don't know. My line was Old Miss by 10 also. We don't know Old Miss enough to really, they're great. We're going to lay 4. I don't know. Missouri, 6.5, 50.5 to Kansas. Kansas looks really good. This Daniels, Jalen with the Jalon, Daniels. I like our other Jalen Daniels on Washington. He's he's getting more accurate with his passing, and he's very hard to contain. Missouri beat a Division II team, so we don't know anything about them. The kid had a lot of yards, Missouri. Let's check the quarterback. So I go into my spreadsheet here, and let's see, Missouri. God, what's all the commotion? I got the noisiest neighbors. All right, Missouri, 61-6 over a high school team. Bo Pribula, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. They threw for 283, ran for 219. So they got 500 yards. And in comparison, with Kansas wins 38-7 in the 2 games. Daniel, 7 touchdowns and 1 pick, only 1 sack, 228 and 246 passing and running. So they're very balanced. So I'm not sold that Missouri's going to kill them. Let's go with the free pick here. Let's go Kansas plus 12.5 free pick. Balanced offense. The quarterback's very good. Missouri, okay, they beat a Division II team 63-6. Doesn't mean they got a great defense. Doesn't mean they're not, I don't believe, ranked. I think Kansas, from what I saw, actually they killed Fresno State, who then killed Georgia Southern, and then they won so they've already won 2 games. I think they're a live dog here. This is what we're looking for. You have a good quarterback. Their defense was great against Fresno State. And then you have the quarterback, good coach, good defense. I can't see them getting blown out. Can they win? Yes. Is Missouri a weak favorite? Don't know enough yet. I would think Kansas is a very strong dog. I think the spread's too high. Let's just check injuries here. Actually, I think I did. That must be on here. I don't know where I put it. Here it is. College football injuries. So let's quickly let's update it. Look at Kansas. We're really looking for the quarterback, and he's fine. There's a linebacker out. Questionable. D lineman out. We don't know if these are starters, and that's it. So they're pretty healthy. So again, I go to covers.com, and then I go to the NCAA injuries, and there's my Kansas. And I think today's Tuesday, they would show you, if Daniels was hurt, they would show you that. All right, so there's our free play. Take Kansas plus the 12.5. The pro free play is Philly -1, again, with no Micah Parsons on Dallas. Now I hear rumors that he's got a back problem. He needs an epidural. I can't believe Green Bay didn't see that when they did a physical on him and they signed him to a 4-year contract or whatever for $200 million, and the guy's got a bad back. We'll check the line on that to see. It went, Green Bay went to 2.5. But if that was based on Micah Parsons playing, but if he's got a bad back and needs an epidural, I mean, he'll probably take it. Like in North Dallas 40, they take the shot, but I don't know about that. All right. The Navy, 21, 59.5. 21, 59.5. To UAB. UAB I have as an over team. I also have UAB as a balanced team. Going against the Navy, who I really like their quarterback, Blake Horworth, who scores touchdowns. I have Navy as an A team, but they played a Division II team. I think both of these teams did. So we really got no read on them. But just even though they played Division II, they still had a balanced offense. And Navy, we know what their offense is. So good team. I think Navy's better than Army this year, unless Army can find a quarterback. The guy threw 2 interceptions. They lost to Tarleton State or whatever. North Texas, Western Michigan. North Texas is 10, 59.5. They're an over team. They have a great coach, just like Texas State. They're going to score no matter. Me and you could be the quarterbacks. Western, I got them as a W team now after losing to Michigan State and not scoring at all. Michigan State's not that strong of a team. Believe me, if North Texas played Michigan State, they'd have lit them up, or Texas State or UTSA. I don't know. The game's at Western, so it's a different thing. At Michigan State, now at home to North Texas. We'll get a better read on it. I like North Texas, but it's still at Western, and how bad are they? Oregon State, 347.5 to Fresno State. Fresno State, all of a sudden, they got killed by Kansas, which makes me like Kansas even more. And then the following week, they killed Georgia Southern, and all of a sudden, they became a balanced team, I believe. Fresno State. Yeah, Fresno State's, they had 2 good running backs. One got like 200 yards, one got like 100 yards, and they scored 5-6 touchdowns last week. So look for Fresno State to run the ball down Oregon State's throat. Oregon State lost to Cal. Malik Murphy had a terrible day. The guy from Texas who went to Duke, who was good at Duke, comes here and then struggles. So is Fresno State a live dog? It could be. But that's why I love Kansas. If they dominated Fresno, who then killed Georgia Southern, and now they got Oregon State, we'll see if they can beat them. A little bit early yet on that. Clemson, 33.5, 51.5. Troy's a B team, again, Division II, and Clemson, they're an under team. What can you say? 17-10 to LSU. Are they going to get revenge? Are they going to light up Troy? Probably. They're going to be pissed about losing. They're at home. Look for the kid to have a good game because he only has good games against weak competition. But against LSU, Klubnik didn't show up. Much like Trevor Lawrence, who doesn't show up in big games, Klubnik doesn't. So he throws all these touchdown passes. Oh, let's take him as the first pick. But he doesn't show up in big games. You know who did? Carson Beck from Georgia, Miami, showed up in a big game against Notre Dame. And that's what you're looking at. Who showed up in that game, but not Arch Manning didn't show up against Ohio State. I don't know. I looked at him. He was on a commercial for sunglasses or glasses, and I'm looking at the guy, and I'm like, this guy's a wimp. This guy's not a number one. He's not a football player. He's nothing. He can probably throw in the backyard to his dad, who's the receiver of the 3. So Eli and Peyton were the quarterbacks, and this guy was the receiver. He's not. He does not have it here. He's not passionate about it. I would never draft this guy. So again, Clemson probably blows out Troy after the loss. We'll see. Rutgers 15.5, 46.5. Okay, against Miami of Ohio, they played Ohio, and now they're playing Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio, an under team, good defensive team, doesn't score a lot. Rutgers, I don't know who they are. They win 34-31. Now, normally you would have thought that would have been a 10-7 game with their defense. The offense came alive, but I guess they got a block punt or a punt. They got 2 punting touchdowns. I don't know. Miami of Ohio should play them. I would think this would be an under game if that wasn't, but we will see. But again, who did Miami of Ohio? Oh, they lost 17-0 to Wisconsin. So on one hand, they kept Wisconsin to 17 points if they are any good, but they got shut out. So I think it's a similar game here. They're probably not going to score much on Rutgers, but I don't see Rutgers getting 34 points. Cincinnati against Bowling Green. Cincinnati 21.5, 46.5. Up from 20, 46.5. Bowling Green's an under team. Cincinnati lost to Nebraska 20-17. Laying 21, I don't know if they're going to score that much. How bad's Bowling Green? We don't really know yet. So this is we got to wait on this. Oregon and Oklahoma State. Oregon 28, 57.5. Oregon, Dante Moore looked good against the Division II team, but he sucked at UCLA, so we're not sure. Oklahoma State's a W. They're not a good team this year. Oregon, again, should be an A team. Their coach sucks. He's a choke. Oregon at home. Oregon, they probably will put up a 45-50 on them. Total of 58, but Oklahoma State doesn't have that normal firepower. This should be an easy over, but Oak State's not going to come. So I think Oregon wins it. I don't know if they'll get to 58. UTSA, Texas State, beautiful game. I love that. UTSA 4.5, 65. That's what it was. That's what it is. We've got 2 over teams. Texas State scores in bunches. UTSA, even against Texas A&M, went into the 60s there. Played a strong game. What can I say? I like both coaches, both quarterbacks. Should be a good game. Colorado 23.5, 50.5 to Delaware. What do you do with Colorado? Now they have the Liberty quarterback. He didn't do much against Georgia Tech, but they held Georgia Tech 27-20. We don't know anything about Delaware. They played Delaware State. I got them as an E team. Colorado, an E team, 23, total of 50. We don't know enough about Delaware to say if they can play with them, and we really don't know enough about Colorado. Colorado should win the game by 30 here if Delaware's Delaware, but we don't know who Delaware is. They're Michigan Junior with the amazing blue. Let's see. Oh, seriously, I'm having internet again. Okay, I think I'm okay. We got Wisconsin 28.5, 45.5 to Middle Tennessee. I can find Wisconsin. Oh, there they are. 28, 45.5. Okay, I got 28, 46. Middle Tennessee I have as an under team. Wisconsin won 17-0. I cannot go over with Wisconsin. They'll probably shut out 28. It's a big number, even against a bad Middle Tennessee team. Ohio, West Virginia. West Virginia 3.5 and 60. West Virginia, an over team. They are a dual team. They got like 600 yards of offense. Rich Rodriguez is back. And Ohio, I keep thinking of Euro Trip because Scotty was from Ohio. Rutgers 34-31. I don't know if Iowa will score that. Will we get to a 60? But Ohio, they have a decent quarterback. I think West Virginia is going to run all over them, but Ohio can answer as they did. If they can put up 31 on Rutgers, and they can put up 31 on West Virginia, this should be an interesting game. Let's see how good they both are. Florida 17.5, South Florida 56. South Florida beat Boise 24-7. Enough said. Florida beat a high school team. They're more of an over team, and right now South Florida's an A team. They played a real team, Boise, and gave up 7. I would think go over with this game with Florida's offense and South Florida's offense, but I don't know. I think South Florida is a live dog here because they beat Boise. I mean, Boise's a good team. They just destroyed them 24-7. So you're kind of looking at, is Florida that good? I don't know. I think you get a lot of good quarterback play in this game. So we will see. Arkansas State. Arkansas 23.5, 62. Arkansas State I have as an over team. Again, they played a high school team. And Arkansas an A team. Lane 23 here. They got a good running quarterback, but he's a terrible passer. Talon Green. Arkansas State, we'll see. I don't know. That's a hard one. Not that it's a rivalry game, but we got to right now. You got to because they played the high school team. It's a real dilemma. What do I do with this team? Marshall 57.5 to Missouri State. I can't believe Marshall's favored over anybody. What was their score last week? Marshall lost 45-7 to Georgia. How they got 7, I don't know. Marshall's not good. They're a 10-point favorite over Missouri State. Now, I watched the USC Missouri State game. What can they, USC threw all over on them. Missouri State had a few good offensive plays. But Marshall, I don't think is 10 points better than a high school team. If they played Illinois State, I don't think they could beat them by 10. Here's where you have the weak favorite, Marshall. But we really don't know. Missouri State, last year, they scored a lot of points. All right, they played at USC. I told you they were going to get killed. I didn't think 73-13, but they did get killed. USC is on a mission, and I like Maivia, their quarterback. So I don't know. This is a live dog, Missouri State, I believe, but we don't know enough about them. What do you take out of the USC game, except for they did play USC? But I can't imagine Marshall being 10 points better, even against UMass. I don't know that they're better. You can't lose 47 players and be 10-point favorites. Utah plays Cal Poly, unfortunately. Utah, I'm betting every week. I'm betting them hard. North Carolina, 12.5, 49.5. It opened at 21, but after the game, it went to 12.5 and a total of 49. North Carolina looked terrible, but they're playing TCU. Belichick, does he even care? Is the girlfriend calling the plays? Who knows? Charlotte's a Z team. I don't know what you call North Carolina. Let's call them a W because TCU just took them to the woodshed. I don't know. Hard to bet them. Charlotte, terrible team. I can't take Charlotte. I can't go over or under. I don't know enough. Army, Kansas State, 17.5, 46.5. Kansas State, where are you? Against the Army. Both teams are even. Army threw 2 interceptions, lost to Tarleton State 30-27. Kansas State is an E team. They're not a balanced team. This is up to 17.5, 46.5. Army will probably revert back to Army and just run the ball down your throat, which probably means it's an under team. Kansas State, they're an E team. We know they played Iowa State pretty close. That's all we know. I don't know. I don't like laying this many points to Army with Kansas State. They got a great coach. I do think they'll play better. I kind of feel the under could be a play here. Just because I think Army realizes their quarterback can't throws interceptions. And I think they're just going to just run it down their throat. We'll see. Memphis, 13.5, 56.5 to Georgia State. Georgia State has as a Z team. Memphis an over team, 13.5, 56. Can't play the game over because are we going to get a help from Georgia State? Memphis scored a lot on Division II. Again, this is the problem. You got these Division IIs, you just don't know enough. Tulane, 10.5, 51.5 to South Alabama. Tulane, very good. Beat a good team. They beat Northwestern 23-3, but they held Northwestern to 3. Stone from SMU didn't do anything. Tulane gets their 23. South Alabama's beat a high school team. Good coach, Measure Applewhite. This should be a scoring game. Total of 51. It's at South Alabama. Tulane's a very good team. Good defensive. I don't know. Now, they're not that good defensive coming because they beat Northwestern, right? So you got to, after this game, we can say if Tulane's got a good defense because I know South Alabama will have a good offense. Toledo, 758.5 over Western Kentucky. This quarterback looked dynamite from Abilene Christian. He's got like 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, throwing for 400 a game. Toledo is a good team. I got him as a B. I got Western Kentucky as an A. Again, I don't think Toledo's a weak favorite. I think Western Kentucky's a strong dog here. So I do definitely like this to be a very good game. And we'll see. But that's what I like, a good quarterback, a good offense. They're going to keep – if they get down 20, he's going to get you back in it. They could easily win the game, and that's what you like in a dog, that it's kind of an even game, take the dog. And this is A against B with Western Kentucky being the A team. Toledo played who did Toledo play? I know they played a regular team. Where are you, Toledo? I could have sworn. Oh, yeah, they played Kentucky. They lost 24-16 to Kentucky. So they were able to get 16 points on them. They gave up 24 to Kentucky. Yeah, I think this should be a good game, and this should be a close game, Western Kentucky. Houston 14, 39.5. This is kind of a rivalry game as both teams are in Houston, right, Alex? Alex lives in Houston, 40. Houston's a B team. Willie Fritz, very good coach. Rice played an under game in the week 1 against Lou Lafayette, beat him 14-12. So Rice, maybe he's going a little more defensive. And Houston, we know, has a very good defense. Total of 40 tells you something there. Kind of not sure what to do with this game. Virginia Tech, 1.5, 47.5 over Mike Vanderbilt. We know Daggio Pava, they're an A team. Virginia Tech lost to South Carolina 27-11. Their defense was pretty good. Again, I just think it's a weak favorite and a live dog. Vandy is SEC, and they got the best quarterback in the country. So, again, I think we got a live dog in Vandy. LSU 37.5, 50, down from 52. We'll call it 51 to Louisiana Tech. I have them as an E team. I don't show them in any of my stats. LSU, we saw they look good. Neusmeyer. Will they? They're at home and they got the Clemson win. Will they be a little flat this week? Maybe, maybe not. But it took a lot out of them and they got the win. I think they'll be explosive. Let's look at L Tech. Let's do a quick L Tech search. And L Tech, here they are. There's the boys. They won 24-0 over a high school team. Trey Kukik, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Cumby's the coach, weak offense, 130 yards passing. Now that's for Trey Kubik, and then 136 yards rushing. So I got 266. So you're not going to get help from L Tech scoring on LSU. So this should be a shutout, I would imagine. Or a little bit low scoring. Total of 51 shows you they're not expecting. This is going to be all LSU, but you got to lay 37. Is that doable? We'll find out. Could be. Michigan State, 440.5 to Boston College, up from 3. Michigan State's an E team, Boston College an A team. Boston College played a high school team. Michigan State beat Western. A pretty good offensive team normally, but again, new quarterback. Pretty decent defense. Don't know about their offense. Lane 446. Michigan State at home. I don't know how good BC is. They didn't do anything with this Castellanos last year, and he looked like a superstar for Florida State. Michigan State, this I would imagine will be a close game. Michigan State just is an average team. They're an E team. So BC I have as the better team, but we'll see. Auburn 42.5, 51.5 to Ball State. Where is Auburn? Oh, there we go. 43. Okay, 43-51. This was 55. Ball State I have as a W team. Auburn, obviously explosive. Now they, for Baylor to score 24 on them, that Baylor scores 24 on anybody. Auburn, explosive. Hugh Freeze, they'll score a lot. Their defense isn't great. 43 down to 37. I think it's doable if he leaves the quarterback in the whole game, which I doubt. If they get up 38-0, are they leaving him in? I mean, that's your problem. Just like Penn State last week. They couldn't handle the 40 because they pulled their players. So we'll see what Auburn does. But this quarterback will score 5 touchdowns. He's just so hard to tackle. Very good. Reminds me of Jackson Dart. Good runner, not a great thrower. This is the guy from Oklahoma. But he never did this at Oklahoma where he ran all over the place. So Auburn should, they beat Baylor. They're going to win. It's just, can they cover 43 is a big number. Big Nebraska, 34.5, 47.5 to Akron. Akron's a W team, but Nebraska's an under team. They won 2017 over Cincinnati team. Can Nebraska score 34 points? See, this is where they're going to shut out Akron, but can Nebraska score the 34 points needed to cover the spread? I don't know. Probably leaning towards a lower scoring game. I think most of the Nebraska games are going to they're going to get into the 20s and they'll be happy. Arizona State and Old Mississippi State. Arizona State 6.5, 58.5. Where are you? There it is. Arizona State's a B team, good quarterback. They lose Scatterboo. The runner didn't. They weren't dual threat. Oh no, they were. Arizona State was a balance, so they do have another runner. Old Mississippi State's an over team. Blake Shapen, the quarterback, was at Baylor or TCU, and he looks very good. Should be an interesting game. Old Mississippi State, not as bad in the games there. Arizona State, yeah, good quarterback. Oklahoma, let's see what the details are. Oklahoma, 5, 5.5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and 5.5. So it's basically 5.5, 45.5. For Oklahoma, I'll leave it at 6 right now. Michigan, I don't know. They beat a decent New Mexico team. Oklahoma, a B team, but I watched the Oklahoma game against whatever high school team they played. And I got to tell you, they really struggled. I'm surprised by this line. But it's a really unknown line. Oklahoma did not look good beating a high school team. Michigan, Underwear looked okay. Their defense looked okay. There was a fake field goal or punt that New Mexico scored on. They didn't really drive down and score. It was like hike the ball to the punter, and he threw a touchdown pass from like the 10-yard line or whoever it was. Michigan's defense will come to play. I think the quarterback made some good throws. He didn't look like last year's quarterbacks. He looked like a real quarterback, but we don't know. But I don't buy Oklahoma is a touchdown favorite in this game. I don't see Oklahoma being, again, they played a high school team and they were struggling with them. They finally scored at the end a few touchdowns, but I think Michigan's a very live dog in this game. But again, we're hoping that the quarterback's really a quarterback, which we don't know. All right. USC 28.5, 61.5 to Georgia Southern. Now, Georgia Southern played Fresno State, lost 42-14 by 28. USC laying the 27 and a 63 total. I don't know. Georgia Southern did not put up a lot of points against Fresno State. USC put up 73. And I'm kind of confused that this line's only 27. My line was 30. Was only 27 here, so we can go down to 21. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to put up another 7. Maya Villa looks good, their quarterback. I know there's a radio host in Detroit who thinks he stinks, and I'm like, you got the right quarterback there, buddy? He doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's very good. He proved it last game. So look for USC. They're pissed. They're at home, and they're playing a weak Georgia Southern team. Look for some more, another basketball score here. What do we do? Bama, 36.5, 50 to Lou Monroe. Now, Lou Monroe is probably a Z team, but right now they're a B team because they beat a high school team. Bama, what are they? They got their ass kicked by Florida State. They couldn't stop a running quarterback. They've never seen one before, apparently. Georgia's quarterback's starting to run. We know Ole Miss's runs. Aguilar runs a little. If they played Utah would win by 40 because Devin Dampier, this guy's the best quarterback in the country. This guy's, you can't tackle the guy. And he can throw. And this is what I hate about college. I can't bet Utah this week because they're playing a high school team. So Alabama, 37-50. Okay, off the loss. They're playing Lou Monroe. Their quarterback sucked. I was not impressed by this quarterback. If he's going with this guy, he's in big trouble. This guy's not good at all. Again, against Florida State, he could barely complete passes. So I am not laying 37 with this quarterback. As far as 50, Lou Monroe, I don't know. Alabama looks lost. I can't say what this is going to be. I don't buy this 37. I can't take Lou Monroe, but I am not playing Alabama laying 31. I'd much rather play USC and lay 21 than take Alabama laying 31 when I don't think they can score 31. UCLA 2.5, 53.5 to UNLV. UNLV, I believe, is a duel. If I can find the conference. Yeah, they're in the Mountain West. They're a duel. So they can run and pass. UCLA, they got the volleyball player. I got UCLA as a double. Utah just killed them, but they didn't really score much. But you're not going to score on Utah. They got a great defense. And the one with the best defense, I believe, is Georgia, is BYU. So look for those three defensive teams. I'm not sure how Iowa is this year. Are they a shutdown or not? Iowa State's pretty good, but Iowa State can score with Rocco Beck. So UCLA 354 to Vegas. Maybe Vegas is okay. I think Vegas is a live dog. I think UCLA again is a thing, but again, you're measuring UCLA against Utah's defense, and this is Vegas's defense, and it's not the same. They should be able to move the ball. UCLA on this. This might go that way. Vegas. Let's take a look at Vegas. Vegas. They won 38-26. Anthony Calandria, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, Dan Mullen, the old Mississippi State, is the coach. They got 222 yards passing, 228 running. So Vegas is a balanced. UCLA, on the other hand, but again, they played Utah. They lost 43-10. The quarterback was 101, 136 yards passing and 84 running, but it's against Utah. So is Vegas's defense, well, they let up points, didn't they? But did Vegas play 2 games? Let's see. Vegas has given up. Well, no, this is an average. So Vegas gave up 26 points on average. So let's see. Vegas, they beat Idaho State 35-30, and then they 38-21 to Sam Houston. Okay, which is a very bad team. Interesting. So I think I have found how to play this game. Boom. All right. Tulsa, 3.5, 51.5 to New Mexico State. Tulsa an over team, New Mexico State an under team. Again, playing high school games. Don't really know. I'm not going to take New Mexico State as the dog, and I can't bet Tulsa at this point. Totals, I have no idea. So there's better fish to fry. BYU 18.5, 46.5 to Stanford. Stanford's terrible. Stanford lost to Hawaii 23-20. And I don't think they played. They probably played last weekend, but against a high school team, I think. Yeah, I don't see them. Anyway, listen to Hawaii 23-20. You got BYU. BYU will shut them out. They have a fabulous defense. The quarterback is a freshman, Bachenbauer, but he played pretty well against the high school team last year. They're at home, probably shutting out Stanford. They're a live favorite. I wouldn't take Stanford. Stanford I got as a W, but Washington State 1.5, 45.5 to San Diego State. I got them as a B. And I got them as a balanced team. They can run and pass. Washington State's an under. Again, probably not. They're probably a weak favorite, Washington State. Now, can we take San Diego State? Not sure. Washington's got UC Davis, unfortunately. We can't play Utah. We can't play Washington State. We can't play Georgia. This is what I hate about this first couple of weeks when they play the Division II teams. Hawaii, 6.5, 47.5. Again, the Hawaii quarterback's got a hurt ankle. He played a little bit last week, but that was it. Sam Houston stinks. I really have W against W. Hawaii did beat Stanford. Probably give a small edge to Hawaii. And that, my friends, is college. And your free pick is Kansas, getting 12.5 from Old Missouri. I don't understand that line. I mean, Missouri beat nobody, right? They beat a high school team. Kansas has killed Fresno State. So we'll see. All right, let's go to the NFL. Just check the lines. Free pick, Philadelphia. That's Thursday. My picks are posted. I have a few locks. Let me write my locks down. Lock. I believe you're a lock. That's 3 locks. Played them. I like highlighting my locks. Locky. Okay, let's go. Philly, 7.5, 47.5. Again, there's no Micah Parsons on Dallas. You know, what are they going to do? Dak Prescott's the problem, and now Micah Parsons seems to have a bad back. Well, let's check that. Yeah, it's pretty fucking important if he does. Let's see if he's on the injured list. And let's go to pro. NFL injuries. Let's go to Green Bay. No injuries to report. So does Micah Parsons have a bad back and needs a shot, or does he not? I don't know. There's not a lot of injuries reported. That probably comes out tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on it. All right. So let's go before my battery dies. Kansas City, 360, 45.5. Is there any 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.5, 3, 3, 3.5? There's no 2.5. Sorry, boys. So KC is now a 3 and a 45.5. That hasn't moved. Pittsburgh, 3, 38.5 to the Jets, Jets, Rodgers against Fields. And I'll go through my teaser trends. Indy, 1.5. Who the hell's betting Indy? 1.5, 47.5. That's up from 45.5. Tagliabue against Jones. Jacksonville, 3.5, 46.5 to Carolina. I'm going to do lines, then I'll get into the games. Washington, 645.5. Line hasn't moved. Daniels against Russell Wilson. Good matchup. Cincinnati, 5.5, 47.5. Obviously, Burrow against Flacco. New England, 2.5, 43.5 to Oakland. Let's see if there's a 3 there. I thought there was a 3. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. They're all 2.5s, which makes, how can that be? But okay. And then 43.5. All right. Arizona 6.5, 43.5 to New Orleans. I guess Rattler starting against Kyler Murray. Tampa 2.5, 47.5. Evans is out. And we got Penix with Atlanta, a live home dog. Denver 7.5, 42.5. We got Cam Ward against Bo Nix. We got San Francisco 2.5, 43.5, down from 45.5. Purdy against Darnold. We've got Green Bay 2.5, 47.5. To Detroit, Golf against Love. We got the Rams 2.5, 43.5. Stroud against Stafford. He apparently will play. At least that's what we're under the impression. Buffalo and Baltimore. Buffalo 1.5, 50.5. Okay. $50.5. Not sure why that spread would go down. And we got Minnesota 1.5, 44.5. McCartney against Caleb with the laugh out loud on McCartney. Let's go through the games. Philly, Dallas, again, without Micah Parsons. Play against Dallas 14-3, play 15-3. Philly as the home favorite last year in a teaser. So these are teaser trends. But we can only go back a year on most of these, except for Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore. We can go back 3 or 4 years. KC, Dallas with the 28 defense with Micah Parsons. Philly with the 18. Strong defense. Barkley, now how are they going to stop Barkley without Micah Parsons? KC, 345. KC with a 19 defense. San Diego with an 18 defense. Mahomes against Herbert. San Diego 15-3 last year. Carolina, Jacksonville. And both. So Dallas was an E team, Philly an A team, Kansas City a B team, San Diego an under team. Carolina and Jacksonville are both Z teams. They both suck. Carolina 31 defense, Jacksonville at 26. Steve Young against Trevor Lawrence. Play against Jacksonville 15-2 last year. Play against Carolina the last 2 years, which we could use 27-7. Washington and the Giants. I got the Giants as a Z team, but they got Scatterbrew, they got Russell Wilson. They're not a Z team anymore. We got to make them probably an over team or an E team. 24 defense, Russell Wilson. Washington an over team, the 23 defense and Daniels. Washington was 17-3 against the number. Played against the Giants last year's 14-3, but you can't use it because now we got Russell Wilson and Scatterboo. So that changes the trend, which is why this is when you can't use trend analysis. The trend you're looking at is with Danny DeVito, the garbage quarterbacks, right? Now you got Russell Wilson. Well, that's not part of the technical analysis, so you can't use it. And that's why I argue that technical analysis doesn't work if you change the variables. We've changed the variables. Can you use Washington? I can use Washington last year. I didn't change the variable. I got Kingsbury. I got Daniels. I got Bobby Wagner. I got basically the same team. I got McLaurin. So, yes, I'm pretty much have the same team. So I can use the trend. Pitt, 338.5. Pitt was an under team, but now they got Aaron Rodgers. They got the running back from Iowa, who's very good, and they got DK Metcalf, this is not the same offense. So this is not going to be an under team. The Jets are a Z team, and they're probably still Fields, terrible quarterback, 24 defense. Play against the Jets, 15-2 last year. You can't use it because that was with Rodgers, not Fields, but it was, again, coaching problems and everything. So, again, with the new quarterback, I can't look at the trend, but it'll probably help us. Arizona, under team. New Orleans, an under team. 22 defense, 23 defense, 22 for Arizona, 23 New Orleans. Kyler Murray against Rattler is not a contest. Murray's much better. I don't understand Rattler being in the league. I don't understand what you would see in Rattler. He's not a winner. Maybe he's just cheap. I don't know. Kellen Moore's got his hands full if he's going with Rattler. Huge. And how much does Tyler Shaw blow if he couldn't beat out Rattler? But again, this is an ugly game. Oakland, New England, they were both Z teams, but you can't use that anymore. Oakland's now got Coach Pete. They now have Gentry from Boise. They have Brock Bowers. They now have Geno Smith. So it's a totally different team, so I can't use the technical analysis. Geno Smith now against Drake May, but with Drake May, and I can't use this because I got a new coach now, right? In comes Vrabel. Well, I can't. The Z teams with the other coach, forget them. So New England with Drake May, we have no idea what these teams are. Miami at Indy. Indy's 1.5. Daniel Jones, probably the worst quarterback I've seen against Tagovailoa. Play against Indy last year, 17-0. You got to throw out because Daniel Jones wasn't there, but I can't see it getting any better. 25 defense for Indy, and then Miami with the 21. Cincinnati, an over team, 26 defense, Joey Burrow. Play against Cincy was 14-3. We can use Cleveland, a Z team, 26 defense. Flacco, play against Cleveland, 14-3. Was Flacco, I think, was on Indy last year. So not sure. Flacco, he's okay. He's nothing special. He's no Joe Burrow. And again, since he's not wanting to start 0-3 again, and played a lot in the preseason. So I think since he's chomping at the bit in Cleveland, I was hoping that Prime Jr. would be the quarterback so we could mortgage the house on betting against him. But you got Flacco. That shows you how bad Prime Jr. is. He couldn't beat out Flacco, right? Enough said. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, an over team, 2.5, 47.5, 23 defense. Atlanta with the 25 defense, but you added two superstar defensive ends, the guy from Georgia and the guy from Tennessee, who are both very strong. First round, look for this to be a totally different Atlanta team. Now you're going to play Penix. You should have played him after 7 or 8 games. You stuck with Kirk Cousins, and he lost every game. Penix comes in, at least you're competitive. He's very good. Tampa was 16-2 in a teaser. Play against Atlanta was 14-3. You got to throw that out because we got Penix now and the 2 pass rushers. Look for Atlanta to be much improved defensively and the crucial quarterback position. Frisco, 2.5, 43.5. Purdy against Darnold. Frisco was an E team last year with a lot of injuries, with no McCaffrey and a 26 defense. Seattle, an under team with the 22 defense. Now they get Darnold instead of Geno Smith. They don't have receivers. They let Metcalf go. They let Lockett go. They don't have a defense. I don't know what they're doing there. Letting Coach Pete go is bad enough. Denver, Tennessee. Denver, an A team with an 18 defense, Bo Nix. Tennessee is a Z team, 27 defense, and Cam Ward. Is Cam Ward going to help your 27 defense? I don't think so. Is Cam Ward going to do anything? I don't think. I think they blitzed the shit out of him. Play against Tennessee, 28-6. Or no, 28-7. Play against Denver was 28-6. Can't use that. Denver was 16-2 in a teaser with Bo Nix last year. Play against Tennessee last year was 15-2, but you can't use that because you got Cam Ward. And this is where the frustration of using the technical analysis, you can't use it. You've got Cam Ward, you've got Darnold now, you've got, Penix with the 2 defensive guys. So things are changing. So you have to be smart enough to realize you can't use technical analysis. And that's what I keep saying about stocks and gold and silver, because now you've got bricks. Now you've got gold jumping and silver jumping because of bricks and the demand and the dollar being worthless and the massive inflation here in the US. The variable, you can't just look at a gold chart from 10 years ago and say, oh, this is a teacup and they don't even understand. You can't, the variables have changed. You can't use the technical analysis. So anyway, uh, so Denver there against Tennessee. Houston and the Rams, both teams were under, both were 22 defenses. You got Stroud against Stafford. Both teams were 16-3 in a teaser. This, I think, will be a very strong game. Houston's defense, the Rams have a strong defense. You got Stafford's the difference with Puka and Devontae Adams and some running. Both teams excellent defense. Detroit and Green Bay, both teams were over. Detroit 23 defense was really a 30, and because in the beginning of the year they're not giving up points, but then the last 6 or 7 games they gave up 30 points. Washington killed them. All right, they played Minnesota well. Buffalo put up 48. Green Bay put up 40 something. If Darnold was a good quarterback, he should have put up 40 something. Green Bay with the 20 defense. Now you added Micah Parsons. We'll see tomorrow if he's got the bad back. I don't know if that's real or not. All you can do is go to the injury list and see if he's on the injured with the bad back. That's all you can do. And they have to put the injuries down in the NFL. Golf against Love. Detroit's 30-8 in the teaser the last 2 years. You can use Love. Green Bay 15-3 and 30-7, which you can use because Love's been there with the coach for the 2 years. I'm going by the quarterback and the coach if they've both been there. My line's Detroit -3. I'm kind of confused. Green Bay a favorite here. They were favored 1.5 before Micah Parsons. Now with Micah Parsons, they're 2.5. Now Detroit lost Ragnow, the center, and a guard. Their coordinators look like shit in the preseason, which is when they should look better because they got to get used to the team. You can't look at practice and go, oh, yeah, they look real good in practice. That's all they hear. Oh, the Detroit's offense looks so good in the practice. They're not playing anybody. I think Detroit's defense is going to struggle. I think offensively they'll be very good. I don't think Hutchinson's going to play, but we'll see. Maybe he does. If he does, how long until he breaks his leg again? A couple of plays. Big mistake that he shouldn't be out there for at least one full year, which is October. But we'll see. But there's no way you don't break your leg where it apparently snapped and you're recovered in a year. No, I'm sorry. No, that's not scientifically possible. So we'll see. Green Bay, Love, he's very inconsistent, gets injured a lot. I don't know. The coach seems to be a good offensive mind. That's all I can say there. But we'll see. They've struggled with Detroit. They did play them, I think, Thanksgiving better, and they lost, but they started to get the feel of it. But, of course, by then, Detroit had their injuries. Baltimore, Buffalo, 2 A teams. Baltimore, 21 defense. Buffalo, 22. Lamar against Allen. Buffalo, 17-3 in a teaser. And Baltimore, 16-3 in a teaser last year. Lamar, well, he might not choke in this game because it's not a playoff game. Look for Allen. Buffalo is a very good home team. Always. They beat KC at home last year. They beat Baltimore at home last year. They're a different team on the road, but this should be an outstanding game. And our last game, Minnesota-Chicago. Minnie was a B team with Arnold, 20 defense. The defense is still 20. J.J. McCarthy's often injured, and I'm not sold on him. He's at best an average quarterback. And Caleb, I got Chicago as an under or a W, 22 defense. They have a very good defense. Their offense sucks. Their best quarterback's Badgett, but is the coach smart enough to try to win and use Badgett, or is he going to go with Caleb and lose games because they drafted him number 1 and they can't look like idiots that he's not even their best quarterback? Badgett's a much better quarterback. If Badgett was playing, I would take the Bears as the dog. With Caleb, not a chance. That is your kind of teaser breakdown. Again, your best game is probably Baltimore Buffalo. You got Atlanta Tampa should be a good game. The Giants Washington, I think, will be a very good game. And Kansas City San Diego, I think that's a good game in Brazil. I don't think Dallas Philly will be a good game. I think Philly, well, obviously it's the free pick. We'll pound them, I think. And really the key is Barkley and the push tush and the fact you don't have Micah Parsons. That's got to demoralize the team. But if he's really hurt, then it was a really smart play by Jerry Jones if he really was hurt, because the guy hurt his back and he needs pregnancy shots. That was really smart, because you would have signed him for 4 years and all the guaranteed money, and he can't play. So I don't know. I don't know if it's real. I heard it on the radio, but until I see it in the injury report, which usually it's Tuesday, but the game's Sunday, so we'll see in tomorrow's injury report. But if he needs the shot, to play because his back's hurting him, how good is he going to play with the shot anyway? What's the pregnancy shot? I can't think of it. Anyway, that's what you have. So that's pro football. That's college football. We're still, at least in pro, they play pros, right? There's no, oh, they play a college team. Where in college, they play these high school teams in which you really have no idea of how really good they are, because if you beat a high school team 48-0, is your defense really that good? And is your offense really that good? And that's where the problem is in college. So we will see. Now, certain teams we can see. Michigan we saw against a real team, against a real boy. USC we saw. Wisconsin, a lot of the MAC teams. Kansas we've seen against good. Like that's the point with Missouri. We haven't seen them against a real team. We have seen Kansas pound Fresno State, and then they pounded Georgia Southern. We're going, fuck, Kansas must have a hell of a defense. So anyway, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 games going. I do have a lock. I do have 2 locks in the pro. I think I have 3 lock games. So that's 6 teams. But I think I played 1 and 2 teasers. So that's why you buy the picks or the locks from me. You might know the lock, right? Ohio State under last week. It wasn't a lock, but it was a big bet. Baylor, I played over in 2 teasers. And that's how you win in teasers. You've got to play multiple games. You can't play, it's just here's 5 teasers, or here's 6 teasers, and you go 3 and 3 and you lose money on the juice. If you got a good team like Philadelphia, you play them in 2 teasers. You lock them. You want to win a lot on the game that you really like. That's how you play it. Anyway, let's see what else is going on. So that's football. Again, we will look at here's a quick Egon one.
Given the policy of the Western central banks, would you say, ironically, that the central banks are gold bugs in disguise?
No, I don't think they have a clue about gold. The only thing they know is that gold reflects their idiotic policies in destroying paper money. The central banks do not like seeing the gold price go up, because that tells the world that their economy and their currency is run badly. I wouldn't call that a gold bag. I mean, they are aware of what gold reflects, but they don't understand that gold is an extremely important asset to hold for a country and for an individual to protect against what they're actually doing.
Given the policy of...
So what's a gold bug? A gold bug is somebody that realizes gold's value and wants to buy a lot of ounces or bars, you're a buyer of it because you understand that's your survival, as what I teach, right? It's going to go up in value because they're going to destroy the currencies because the currencies aren't backed by anything. See, the whole problem here is the currencies are fiat, so they're all printed. The problem is they're all crooks, and so they all want to print a lot of money and steal it. That's the problem with government. That's why they don't like the gold standard, because they can't do it. They can only print as much money as they have gold. And so if you don't have, if you're kind of limited, you can't steal the money. So they don't like the gold standard. The gold standard keeps the supply of money limited, which kills the inflation. Inflation is printing the money supply, inflating the supply. So if you have this or you have this, what are you doing? You're printing it, and printing it. You're printing it to death. That's what you're doing with the dollar. And with gold, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do it. You're supposed to have as much money as you have gold. And so you're limited. But this is why all the currencies collapse throughout the history, is because this isn't backed by anything, and therefore they keep printing and printing, and then they run up debts. And then there's social programs because these people are trying to get elected. I'll give you money. Here's money. Vote for me. And so that's the real problem. So they keep printing, and they keep having bigger government, and they keep printing more and more and more and going into debt. And it ends up where you can't keep track of the debt. You can't print enough to do it. That's my point. If we could, then why aren't we printing $37 trillion and paying the debt off? Because you can't, because it'll be worthless. The money's worthless now, but you can't use it. You can't print 37 trillion to pay off the debt. You can do it with gold if you convert it. I think they might be trying to do it with Bitcoin. Honestly, if they get the Bitcoin up where they can get 37 trillion, the problem is Bitcoin's private. So me and you can own Bitcoin just because Bitcoin is so much, unless the government holds it. Now, I know Trump has a lot of Bitcoin, but he's not going to use it to pay off the debt. He's keeping it for himself. So because it is private, not a government, they can't use Bitcoin to pay it off. Stablecoin just run away from, and gold we can see is having a beautiful day. So because gold keeps you limited, let's check the gold price. Because gold keeps it limited, that's why it keeps value. That's why it never really goes out, because it can't. Here we got gold that's 516, so we need an updated. 35.39, a new high for the day. Silver 40.78. So silver's jumped from 39 to 40. Got the 40. I don't know if I got the 40.90, but anyway, 40.70. I've seen it, like, it's a good number for silver. It's broke 40, which means it's going to 50, and 35.39. It jumped through, like I said, it was 34.70 here. Then all of a sudden at 10 o'clock, it jumps up to 35.37. So it had a big jump. So it's the problem is at the 3,400, breaking at 3,500. But once you break it, we might see 3,600 by the end of the week. And we definitely will see $45 silver very soon. We'll see it break some more, because now it broke 38, and then it broke 39, and now it broke 40, and here we go. So that's what we want. Here's this guy in Burkina Faso, the captain. He's just $2.1 billion shock. America's stunned. Trump's an idiot. The tariffs are not even constitutional now, because Congress is the only one who can do it. So I don't know what they're going to do with the tariffs. Ukraine is doomed. Russia just changed where. Ukraine has no soldiers left. So basically, Russia's just mowing them. They just take the tanks, take the cars, and run right through. There's nobody to stop them. So Russia's won the war. It's just Ukraine crying, and Zelensky wants to get paid for it and everything else. I showed you this yesterday. So my good doctor say goodbye to diabetes with this one plant. So I recommend Eternal Health. I don't know if you actually eat the plant, or it looks like she's got it in tea. So you know how you got your green tea in the tea bag. But apparently that will kill diabetes. The other way to kill diabetes is stop eating sugar, do the fast like I do, and get rid of carbs and sugars, and the diabetes will go away because your body will take care of it. Rome's money collapse. Well, we know all about it. I've taught it. Basically, Rome, what they did was they debased their currency. They took the gold and silver out of their coins. So what should have been gold back and silver back became nothing back. Well, okay, there goes your coins are worthless. So you go bankrupt because you have no value. That's why you back your money by gold and silver, because it makes it have value. If you can go to the bank with a $100 bill and get $100 worth of gold, then that has value. That it's worth $100 of gold. That's the point of the money backed by the currency. It's not that everybody will have a gold coin, but the currency will be backed by gold. So if you have $1,000 in US, if $1,000 of this backed by gold, it's $1,000 in gold, and gold can't lose its value because you can't print it. So gold can never go down, because the only way it could go down is if there's too much of it. If the supply goes up, like the US dollar now, the supply is up, this has no value. But you can't do that with gold. I mean, you can find a mine here and a mine there and get, 10 tons, 20 tons out of the ground, but that's not going to affect the price. So that's why gold has never lost its value and won't lose its value. This was a good one. Triar arrests the mining CEOs. I think I touched base yesterday. So basically what he did is all these gold miners, they've been stealing from Burkina Faso. They've been cooking the books, saying, oh, we didn't get anything out, and they're not paying taxes. And so he went through the books, saw these problems, and had 9 CEOs from these gold mining companies arrested, thrown in jail for life for fucking around and not paying tax and everything else. So Burkina Faso is poor, but they're not really poor. They have all this gold and oil and lithium and titanium, all this material, but the Americans and the French have been stealing it, and they're poor. But now they've gotten the gold, and they've done oil deals with India, and they've got all these minerals in there, and now they're becoming quite rich. Gold will do that for you. So go buy your gold and silver. Now, gold's 35, 37. I'm still recommending gold. Gold, 10, 20,000. It doesn't matter, because the point is this has no value. So if you have 100, 200, 500,000 of this, it's worthless. You have no value, right? This isn't worth anything. So even though you got $10,000, it's not worth anything. But if you convert it to gold, you do a Rumpelstiltskin, you convert it to gold. Now the gold has value, and the gold's value is going up, and the dollar is going out. So your problem is, if you have a lot of dollars, there's no value in it. So you're basically screwed, but you don't know it. Most people don't know they're getting screwed. They think, oh, I got 100,000, so I'm okay. You're not. It doesn't have a value, but nobody will, because of that mass video I showed where everybody thinks, Trump says everything's great in America, and everybody believes it because they can't think for themselves. Only the Stoics and the critical thinkers like me understand he's full of shit. Don't listen to him. I'm the sky is following guy, but everybody, no, the sky can't fall. And so that's the problem people have. And they don't want to admit they're wrong. And they don't want to admit, wait a minute, Trump said this. And they don't want to admit my dollar's not worth anything. I saved, I got 500 grand in the bank. What do you mean it's worthless? My friend in Florida, is I got 500 grand and I got this annuity where I'm getting paid. And I go, it's not worth anything. You can't get it through his head that what he's got is money is worthless. I know we talk with Bobby, and Bobby gets his $1 million on July 1st. And I keep saying it's not worth anything. You have to turn it into gold if you want to actually get the value for it. So that's what a lot of this is. I actually got approved on the, what's this called? The Who's list. So I get a call. Let's see. I never heard of these people. Has anybody heard of this? Mark Who's Who? Well, they called me and interviewed me, and they said I'm on the list now because of what I do here with the gold and the Austrian economics and the football and everything else, that I'm very interesting, and they want me to join. So I've never heard of this, but this is their website. So I don't think it's a scam. I think it's real. And this will help me get the word out of what I do so I can get a bigger audience. Why is it called a canary in the gold mine? Anyway, Egon sent me an email. Isn't that adorable? All right. So basically, I think that's it. I'm a little more focused. College football is a bitch because there's so many teams. And week one, you're getting the high school games. And so you really have no idea on a lot of these teams. Even though I got the stats, I can't call them A teams because they won 34-0 over a high school team or vice versa. So I can kind of focus on the teams that actually played, like Ohio State and Texas. And I can say they both have quarterback problems and they both have good defenses. So you got Texas playing somebody this week. They're laying like 30 something. And you really have, you saw them against Ohio State. Where are they? Texas. They're playing San Jose State laying 36. And you watch the game going, how can they lay 36? I mean, they couldn't score on Ohio State. Now they're not playing the Ohio State defense. But Arch Manning looked terrible. I was watching the replay, the highlights, and the first pass, he bounced it in the ground 5 yards in front of the guy. That ain't pressure. That's not Ohio State. That's a shit quarterback. He's not ready for the moment. He's not a winner. I'm telling you right now, he's not a winner. I'm not sure the Ohio State quarterback is either. I can tell you that the LSU quarterback's a winner, and the Miami quarterback from my Georgia is a winner, and the Florida State quarterback's a winner. I can tell you that, but I can tell you that Arch Manning is not a winner. Sorry, he's not going to do anything. I wouldn't draft him just because his name's Manning. It doesn't mean anything. So is Daniel Jones. He went to the camp. That's why he got drafted. Went to the Peyton Manning quarterback camp. So Peyton Manning said, draft him. He's really good. Yeah. So much for Peyton Manning being a GM. Anyway, that's what we've got. So again, we're off to an 11-1 start. Your free pick's going to be Kansas getting 12.5 from Missouri. My picks are posted. I will probably have a few more to post. www.teaserking.com. You get here you get the pros and the college. It's $100. 75 if you just want college, or 75 you just want the pros. The locks, $75. You just get the locks, college and pro. Like I said, there's I think 3 locks going. And that's what we have. I've had people buy the whole year. I've had people buy the month. It depends on your thing, but 11-1 start. I think we're cooking, so we'll see. Again, I've been doing this going on, handicapping probably since I was about 18. I was working at the grocery store, and there was gamblers in there, and they'd come to me, Howard, who do you like here and who do you like there? I remember picking Clemson the year Danny Ford won with them. I think it was 79. Clemson won the national title, I believe, over Nebraska. And I know I was handicapping it. I've been betting my whole life, but I also started to give picks out. And again, I've gone through 5-6 bookies who are not smart enough to bet with me. They say, "Oh, you're a winner. We don't want you." And they just throw me out because they just want losers instead of taking my picks and betting them themselves, because I clean them up every week. So they weren't smart enough to do that. Here you had the goose laying the golden egg, and you said, "No, I can't take you anymore." One guy told me the FBI is monitoring his phones. I laughed at that. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, they got nothing better to do than monitor your phones. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'll be on in the morning. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I will be on. And then we got Thursday's the Philly game. Friday's KC San Diego. And we got 2 Friday games, James Madison, Louisville, Northern Illinois, Maryland. We will look at injuries more tomorrow, if there's any key injuries. And I looked for Kansas. I didn't see Daniels on it. He's really the critical. If he got hurt, it would make sense. But I don't know why Missouri's a 6.5-point favorite. Kansas is an outstanding team this year. I think the best team, the number 1 team, is Utah. I don't think anybody can beat them. Devin Dampier is such a smooth quarterback. You can't tackle him. He's like Flowers from what was it, UC Southern Florida many years ago. I loved Flowers. You couldn't tackle him. 3rd and 1, and he'd zig and zag, and he'd get the first down every time. And so Quentin Flowers, I believe his name, but Dampier's got the same thing, only he can throw very well. He's a very good quarterback and a very dangerous runner, and you add the defense. I don't think they're going to – they played BYU, maybe the only game that BYU has a very super strong defense. So we're trying to figure the teams out. Are they over? Are they under? And we can bet totals like I did last week. The Baylor, as soon as I knew Arnold from Oklahoma was the Auburn quarterback with Hugh Freeze, I jumped on the over as soon as I knew who their quarterback was. So it's things like that where I'm able to pick the over. Usually it's based on the quarterbacks. Baylor, great quarterback, Robertson. Big 12, a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of dual. I mean, BYU, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, and TCU, 2, 4, 6, 7 teams, and Baylor is probably right behind them as far as strong offenses with dual attacks. I mean, most of these teams are over teams, and that's what you look for. The under teams aren't really the under. They're really the Z teams that they only get 200 yards of offense in a game, and I'll put them on underneath it. That just helps me without having to go to the spreadsheet. I can say these teams are under 300 yards of offense, and some are under 200, and that's where we want to go against them or unders because they don't have any offense. So we'll keep that in mind. Teams off of a loss: Alabama, Notre fucking Dame, Clemson, very important to understand that. Keep that in mind because they look at Texas will play a good game this week. I don't know they're going to just kill San Jose State. They might. They're at home. It's where they normally get the job done. Anyway, anything else? I hope I'm still on, that I didn't get crushed because I just talked for 2 hours. And if I have to redo this, I'll be pissed. www.teaserking.com. I'll be back on in the morning. Again, if you want to buy, you can use PayPal is in the site, and you can use Venmo if you want. Just use my email address. It's on my homepage on Teaserking. It'll give my personal stuff, and then it'll give my email, and you can email me, and then just use that email if you want to Venmo me instead of PayPaling me. I have a few people that do that. So anyway, have a good night. Hope you enjoyed your Labor Day, and enjoy the rest of your night and tomorrow. All right, www.teaserking.com. Take care, everybody.